Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Cup English. I'm Liam.
And I'm Chloe. We're really happy to have you here with us today.
Whether you're listening while having your morning coffee, driving to work, or just taking a short break, thanks for spending your time with us.
And if you're new to this channel, welcome. This is Daily Cup English, where we talk about everyday topics in natural English to help you improve your listening and speaking skills.
Yeah, we post new podcast episodes every single day, so if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
And make sure to follow us so you don't miss any future episodes. It really helps support the channel, and we truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. We love building this daily English habit together with you.
All right, so today's episode is going to be more like a relaxed conversation, just the two of us sharing thoughts and experiences.
Yeah, no lessons, no pressure, just real-life English, the kind people actually use every day.
So, Liam, what are we talking about today?
Today's topic is how habits change over time.
Oh, I really like this topic. It feels very real and very relatable.
Yeah, same here. I think a lot of us believe habits are something fixed, like once you have a habit, it stays forever.
But in reality, habits change all the time, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly.
Exactly. When I look back at my life, especially my habits from a few years ago, I feel like I was a completely different person.
Same. The habits I had in my early 20s are very different from the habits I have now.
And that doesn't mean those old habits were bad, they just fit who we were at that time.
That's such a good point. Our habits often match our lifestyle, our goals, and even our emotional state.
Right, when your life changes, like when you start working full-time, move to a new place, or go through something difficult, your habits usually change too.
Sometimes we choose to change them, and sometimes they change without us even noticing.
And that's what we want to talk about today, how habits grow, fade away, or transform as we move through different stages of life.
Hopefully, as you listen, you might start thinking about your own habits and how they've changed over time.
All right, let's dive into it.
You know, when you mentioned looking back at old habits, it really made me think about my student days.
Yeah? What kind of habits are you thinking about?
Honestly, my schedule was a mess. I stayed up late almost every night, even when I didn't have anything important to do.
Same here. I used to think staying up late made me more productive.
Exactly. I told myself I work better at night, but most of the time I was just scrolling on my phone or watching random videos.
Yeah, I can totally relate. Back then, my habit was to start everything at the last minute.
Oh, the classic deadline lifestyle.
Seriously, I wouldn't touch an assignment until the last night it was due. Somehow, I always believed I'd be more focused under pressure.
And sometimes it worked, right? That made the habit even stronger.
That's true. When something works once or twice, you start thinking it's a good habit, even if it's actually stressful.
For me, another big habit was comparing myself to others. I was always checking what my classmates were doing.
Like grades, internships, social life, everything?
Yeah, all of it. Social media made it even worse. It felt like everyone else had their life together.
I get that. My habit back then was ignoring my health. I skipped meals, drank too much coffee, and barely exercised.
Same. Sleep, food, and exercise were not priorities at all.
It's funny because at that age, you feel like your energy will last forever.
Exactly. You don't really think about long-term effects. You're just focused on getting through the day.
And I think a lot of our habits at that time were shaped by freedom. For the first time, no one was telling us when to sleep or what to do.
That freedom was exciting, but it also made it easy to build unhealthy habits.
Yeah, no structure, no routine, just doing whatever felt right in the moment.
Looking back now, I don't blame myself. Those habits made sense for who I was back then.
Same here. I think those habits were part of learning. We had to experience that phase to understand what didn't work.
And maybe that's why habits change, not because we fail, but because we grow.
That's a great way to put it. So listening to us talk about our past habits, it kind of makes me wonder, do habits really change naturally, or do we need something to push us?
That's a good question. I think for me, most of my habits didn't change until life forced me to change.
Yeah, I feel the same. When I graduated and started working full-time, my old habits just didn't work anymore.
Exactly. You can't stay up until 2 a.m. when you have to wake up every morning.
Right. My body basically said, nope, this lifestyle is over.
So in that way, habits changed naturally because the situation changed.
But at the same time, I think some habits only change when we become aware of them.
What do you mean?
Like procrastination. Even after I started working, I still had that habit. My schedule changed, but my mindset didn't.
That's true. I had a similar experience. My environment changed, but some habits followed me into adulthood.
Exactly. And those habits didn't disappear until I really admitted they were causing problems.
So maybe there are two types of habit changes. One happens because life changes, and the other happens because we decide to change.
I like that. Some habits fade away quietly, and some need a serious wake-up call.
Yeah, for example, I didn't start managing my time better until I felt constantly exhausted.
Same here. Burnout was a big turning point for me.
And it's interesting because when you're younger, people give you more flexibility. Mistakes feel less serious.
But as you get older, the consequences feel more real. Missing deadlines, bad sleep, unhealthy habits, they affect your work and relationships.
So pressure plays a role, not always in a bad way, but as a signal.
Yeah, like your life saying, hey, this habit doesn't fit anymore.
And once you hear that message, it's hard to ignore it.
True, even if change is uncomfortable, staying the same becomes even harder.
So I guess habits don't change just because time passes.
They change because we do, or because life doesn't give us another option.
That's a powerful thought. I think one of the biggest changes in adulthood is how we see time.
Yeah, time suddenly feels more limited.
Exactly. When we were students, wasting time didn't feel like a big deal.
But now every hour has a cost.
Right. That's when my habits around planning started to change.
Same here. I used to hate routines, but now I actually need them.
Me too. Not strict routines, but simple ones that keep life balanced.
Like having a regular sleep schedule.
Yes, sleep became a priority, not something optional.
And health in general. I didn't care much about exercise before, but now I feel the difference when I skip it.
Same. It's not about looking fit anymore. It's about having energy and feeling stable.
That's such an important shift. Our habits become more about maintenance than excitement.
And about sustainability. You start asking, can I live like this long term?
Exactly. In my early 20s, I never asked that question.
Another habit that changed for me is how I handle work.
In what way?
I stopped trying to do everything at once. I learned to prioritize.
That's a hard habit to build.
It is. At first, I felt guilty for not saying yes to everything.
I know that feeling, but learning to say no is a habit too.
And a very healthy one.
I also noticed that my relationship with rest changed.
How so?
I used to feel lazy when I rested. Now I see rest as part of productivity.
That's such a grown-up mindset.
Yeah, it took time. Adulthood really changes how you treat your body and mind.
And it changes your habits in quiet ways. Nothing dramatic, just small adjustments.
But those small changes add up.
They really do.
You know, something else I've noticed is that most real changes didn't come from big decisions.
Yeah, they usually come from small habits we repeat every day.
Exactly. When I was younger, I thought change had to be dramatic.
Like a complete lifestyle reset.
Right, new schedule, new mindset, new everything, starting on Monday.
And usually quitting by Wednesday.
Pretty much. Now I see big changes are just small habits done consistently.
I agree. For example, I didn't suddenly become organized overnight.
What changed then?
I started doing one small thing, planning the next day before going to bed.
That's simple but powerful.
Exactly. It only takes 5 minutes, but it changed how I feel in the morning.
For me, it was reading. I stopped trying to read a whole book quickly.
So what did you do instead?
Just 10 minutes a day, no pressure. Some days more, some days less.
That's a great example. Small habits feel easier to keep.
And they don't scare you. Big goals can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, when a habit feels too big, it's easy to avoid it.
But when it's small, you don't have a good excuse.
Exactly. Drinking a glass of water, taking a short walk, writing a few lines, those things feel doable.
And over time, they change how you see yourself.
That's important. Habits don't just change your schedule, they change your identity.
You start thinking, I'm someone who takes care of myself.
Or, I'm someone who follows through.
And once that mindset changes, bigger habits feel more natural.
So instead of forcing a big transformation, you slowly grow into it.
That feels much more realistic and much kinder to yourself.
Totally. Growth doesn't need to be loud to be real. What I find interesting is that some bad habits didn't really end because I tried to stop them.
Yeah, they just faded away.
Exactly. Like overthinking. I used to overthink everything.
Same here. Every small decision felt huge.
I would replay conversations in my head and wonder if I said the wrong thing.
I did that too, especially at night.
But over time, I realized it was exhausting.
And it didn't actually help with anything.
Right. I didn't wake up one day and decide I will stop overthinking
It just slowly lost its power.
because I became more confident.
That's such an important point. Confidence can change habits without effort.
Another habit that disappeared for me was comparing myself to others.
That's a big one.
Yeah, when I was younger, I felt like I was always behind.
I know that feeling. Social media made it worse.
Definitely. But as I got older, I cared less about keeping up.
I think life experience does that. You realize everyone has their own timing.
And that comparison steals your focus.
For me, procrastination slowly changed.
You still procrastinate sometimes, right?
Of course, but not in the same way.
What's different now?
Now I understand the cost of procrastination. Stress, late nights, anxiety.
So the habit became less attractive.
Exactly. When a habit stops giving you benefits, it naturally fades.
That's such a realistic way to see change.
Not everything needs discipline. Sometimes awareness is enough.
And patience. Habits don't disappear overnight.
But slowly, as you grow, some habits just don't follow you anymore.
And that's actually a sign of progress.
But even though some bad habits disappear, I think we should be honest, some of them do come back.
Yeah, especially during stressful times.
Exactly. When I'm tired or overwhelmed, I notice old habits trying to return.
Same. For me, it's overthinking. It doesn't show up every day, but when life gets heavy, it comes back.
And that can feel discouraging.
It can. Sometimes you think, I thought I was done with this.
But I've learned that relapse doesn't mean failure.
Absolutely. It just means you're human.
Stress pushes us back to what feels familiar.
Even if that familiar habit isn't healthy.
The difference now is awareness.
Yes, before I didn't notice when a bad habit was controlling me.
Now you catch it earlier.
Exactly. I might still overthink, but I don't stay there as long.
That's real progress.
And instead of blaming myself, I ask, what do I need right now?
That question changes everything.
Sometimes the answer is rest. Sometimes it's asking for help.
For me, it's slowing down instead of pushing harder.
I think adulthood teaches us to respond, not react.
Yeah, old habits may knock on the door, but they don't have to move back in.
I love that way of saying it.
Thanks. And I think listeners need to hear this too.
If a habit comes back, it doesn't erase all the growth you've made.
It's just a reminder to be kind to yourself.
And to adjust, not quit.
You know, another thing that really affects habits is environment.
Oh yeah, environment plays a huge role.
I noticed that when my environment changed, my habits changed almost automatically.
Same here. When I moved to a new place, my daily routine felt completely different.
Exactly. Even small changes like your workspace can shape your habits.
When I started working from home, I had to build new habits from scratch.
Me too. At first, I had no structure at all.
Yeah, it was easy to wake up late and work in pajamas all day.
And suddenly, the line between work and rest disappeared.
That's when I realized environment can either support good habits or make bad ones easier.
For example, when healthy food is around you, you eat better without thinking.
And when your phone is always within reach, distraction becomes a habit.
Exactly. It's not always about willpower.
Sometimes it's about what's in front of you.
Sometimes it's about what's in front of you.
Another part of environment is people.
Oh, that's a big one.
When I spend time with people who value balance and health, I naturally pick up similar habits.
Same. Habits are contagious.
In a good way, and sometimes in a bad way.
That's why choosing your environment carefully matters.
And when you can't change your environment, you can still make small adjustments.
like setting boundaries.
or creating a routine that protects your energy.
Environment doesn't decide everything, but it definitely influences more than we think.
And understanding that makes habit change feel less personal and less frustrating.
Yeah, sometimes it's not you, it's your setup. I think after talking about environment, it's clear that habits say a lot about who we are right now.
Yeah, not who we used to be, but who we are today.
That's an important difference.
Sometimes we try to hold on to old habits just because they feel familiar.
Even when they don't really fit your life anymore.
Exactly. I used to feel bad about changing.
Like you were giving up a part of yourself?
Yeah, but now I see it differently. Changing habits doesn't mean losing yourself.
It means updating yourself.
I love that. Updating, not replacing.
Our priorities change and our habits follow.
For example, I value peace more now.
So your habits support that.
Yes, I spend less time in situations that drain me.
That's a big shift.
It is, and it took time to accept that it's okay.
For me, I care more about consistency than intensity.
That's very different from the all or nothing mindset.
Exactly. I don't need to push myself to extremes anymore.
And your habits reflect that balance.
They do, and I think that's a sign of growth.
Habits are like a mirror,
They show how we treat ourselves.
and they change as our relationship with ourselves changes.
That's such a powerful way to see it.
It also gives us permission to let go of habits that no longer serve us,
Without guilt.
without guilt. So before we wrap up, I want to share a little advice, not as a lesson, just from our experience.
Yeah, think of it more as friendly guidance.
First, pay attention to your habits. Notice which ones support your life and which ones hold you back.
And don't rush the process. Real change takes time.
Exactly. Even small adjustments count.
If a habit feels hard to change, don't beat yourself up.
Relapses are normal. Some habits will come back. Just notice them and gently return to your new routine.
It's all part of growing. We're learning what works for us, what doesn't, and who we want to be.
Also, don't underestimate the power of environment. The people you spend time with, your workspace, even your daily surroundings, they all influence your habits.
And finally, remember that habits reflect who you are now, not who you were before.
So be kind to yourself. Appreciate the progress, no matter how small.
That's what really matters. Growth is gradual, and every small step counts.
And if you take one thing from today's conversation, let it be this: observe, accept, adjust, and keep going.
Exactly. Change isn't instant, but it's always happening if you give it space.
And with that, let's move on to our closing thoughts.
All right, everyone, that's it for today's episode on how habits change over time.
We hope you found this conversation helpful and relatable.
Remember, your habits aren't permanent, they evolve just like you do.
And it's okay if some habits fade, some return, and some completely transform. That's all part of growing.
The important thing is to observe, be patient with yourself, and keep making small, positive steps.
Exactly. Change doesn't happen overnight, but consistency and awareness make all the difference.
So take a moment to reflect. Which habits still serve you, and which ones are ready to change?
And don't forget, you're not alone in this journey. Every listener is learning, adjusting, and growing just like you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to Daily Cup English and follow us so you don't miss future episodes.
We post new podcast episodes every day, and we'd love for you to join our community and practice English with us.
Thanks for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Stay curious, stay consistent, and take care of yourself.
See you tomorrow for another Cup of English.
Bye for now.